Hey guys, welcome back. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Anonymous, and in this channel, we talk about gang stalking, we talk about manipulation, we talk about my experience with gang stalking also. And in this video, I want to talk to you about something that I haven't touched on in any other video before, and this is the perception of words. Now, there is something that happens throughout the gang stalking operation where language has its normal meaning. However, while as you are being harassed, words start, well, negative words particularly, start feeling like they're pointed at you. It is a sensation, it is a change of perception, a perceptual change in language. It's super weird, but I'm gonna give you an example. So let's say I'm at the store, right? I'm gonna use the words high mileage and I'm gonna use the song Creep as an example. So when you are working, well, me, when I'm working, um, there is something that happens like in the middle of the gang stalking operation where you're being constantly harassed, but then words start changing meaning. So like for example, high mileage, alto kilometraje just means that, high mileage. However, when you're getting gang stalked, it feels like the words start pointing at you. So like the next time you hear high mileage, you feel that they are calling you, that you are a high mileage individual, that you have that you have been used a lot, and it takes on a negative connotation, but it is always pointed towards you. Now, another one is when, for example, another word that changed meaning is or a song. Actually, everything that you hear changes meaning all of a sudden. So one thing that I wanna touch upon is this experience that I had with the song "Creep" by Radiohead. So I was literally like, this song has come on often on the radio, and I have had a couple of instances with this particular song. So the song goes, "I'm a creep, I'm a weirdo, blah blah." So you actually get to enjoy it when you're casually listening to it. So when you're getting gang stalked and when you're connected, you feel like the song is pointed at you, like it's like you begin identifying as a creep. And I remember once I was getting my hair cut, and I remember the stylist. She asked me, "That's a beautiful song, but don't you like identify with a song?" And I was just like, no, but that actually struck me as interesting because there were times where I heard that song, and I literally felt like I felt like I was a creep. Like I in my like my innermost perception of myself, like knew that I was a creep. So it is a fascinating perceptual change that happens in the target. There's not really much to it, but this actually can have a significant impact on your psyche. And I that is the effect that the gang stalkers are after. They're going after the perceptual change in language. And I feel that they know exactly what that's supposed to do. So first of all, when you're normal, when you're not getting gang stalked, language is language, right? There's no underhanded or double entendre or double speak meaning into it. There isn't. However, when you're getting gang stalked and everyone suddenly feels like that is acting, to make your day difficult. Additionally, when that's happening and they are trying to make you slip up, trying to make you upset, trying to get you angry, and then they start saying just like all these words like with an accent, like the accentuated words that have typically a negative connotation, like pump, hole, hose. There are words that are that are related to work, but it is the perception of your perception of these words that actually changes. So I want to tell you that there's been times where I am just I was lost in my head, right? I was at work, and then I was, I literally had was like completely aware of the exact same moment where words literally changed meaning. Like I was like, language was language, and then all of a sudden the song creep came, and then in my head I thought, God, now the song is pointing at me. It's calling me a creep now. And that is the exact moment where the perceptual change happens. So it is, I'm not sure if it has something, I think that it has to do with what you think of yourself. I know that it has to do with your with your self-esteem, because you know now that I have managed to get my self-esteem higher because I'm actually accomplishing things, and I'm actually working on bettering myself. If you compare like the videos when I started this channel to now, it's like I'm significantly bigger now. It's like I was so skinny, and I had no idea until I watched it. So until I watched one of those videos, but those things are things that affect my self-esteem, my self-perception. And now that I am aware of that is an actual mechanistic psychological change that happens, almost like a switch that they know exactly how to turn on. But if your self-esteem is high enough, when someone says, high mileage, I made it a freaking a habit of thinking there is no way that someone is gonna speak to me like that. I know that that person is not talking to me. It's not talking about me. I don't say this out loud, but I think it. And the fact that I keep saying this, it's kind of like I'm forcefully upholding the bar of my self-esteem above my head. If I let it drop, if I am passive about those words, that could possibly have double entendre, a double meaning, double speak. If I don't carry it, and I don't support it, my self-esteem is actually gonna be getting lowered, and I'm gonna feel personally attacked. But the moment that every time I hear something like that could be possibly be pointed at me, I think to myself, there's no way that is directed at me, because no one would speak to me or about me in that manner. And guess what? It doesn't turn on the switch. It doesn't do the perceptual change. So you have to actively uphold your self-esteem whenever you hear that there is someone talking about you. Even when gang stalkers are so gang stalkers are going to be talking about you indirectly. But it is up to you to allow that to affect your self-esteem. Now, if you just hear it and don't say anything, so that's the thing. If you say something, they're gonna call you crazy, right? So now, if you don't say anything, it's pretty much like you feel the knot on your throat. You feel the psychological pain. You feel how your self-esteem bar is actually lowered. And and if you go in, this is a tactic that goes on for days. And guess what? Every single attack is gonna actually lower your bar of self-esteem until it gets such as to a low point that you actually start accepting that these words are actually meant towards you. And that is when the entire perceptual change of language, of songs, of creep, of high mileage actually affects you. However, whenever, this is the tactic that I have used to counteract this. When I hear something, when someone says whore or high mileage, I think to myself, there's no way he's referring to me. Especially because I haven't had sex in 7 months. Especially because, the last time that someone hit on me and asked me for sex, I declined. Which I did, actually. So I am purposely not engaging in the behavior that would actually make the attacks of the gang stalkers true. But this is the thing. Whenever a gang stalker actually, if you feel that you are a whore, that you've been whoring around, and gang stalkers are calling you a whore, then you kind of start accepting it, and it starts giving them more power. It affects you. The one word that they tried to do was call me a faggot. However, because I watch a lot of South Park, and there's an episode when they say that there's a difference between being a gay homosexual and a faggot, because faggots are people who drive Harleys who are really loud and they try to get the attention that those are faggots, you know. So when someone says faggot, I just like laugh because I do not identify as a faggot. I am a well-educated, well-mannered, not obnoxiously flamboyant gay man. I take care of my shit and I'm responsible. So whenever it is that gang stalkers, you know, that's what they're trying to do. They are saying these words to try to get at you. But when you actively act in a way where they have nothing on you, you are untouchable. Now, the time that they were constantly and continuously calling me a faggot, I just kept my smile. Even though inside I felt pain, you know, I felt the hurt from someone calling me a faggot, like that shit, or whore, or whatever. But I just kept the smile on my face. I forced the fucking smile on my face, even when my emotions and my entire body told me not to. And guess what happened? When it was over, it was over. Like, I kept my smile on, and at the end, when they got tired of calling me a faggot, and it had no effect on me whatsoever, they didn't see anything, I saw them like through my side eye, and I saw that they were looking at each other, and they were like, fuck, like they were mad, they were sad, because everything that they did nothing. It affected me in no way, shape, and form. And guess what? That raised my bar of self-esteem to the fucking roof. I felt like a fucking hero. You know, and also the things that they're gonna say, I remember that whenever I was getting into my video game, you know, they would, you know, whisper, they would be saying, oh, I guess he turned, that's how he he's fucking crazy, he turned crazy, he's crazy. And that's what they're gonna keep saying. And I'm gonna tell you, there was something inside of me that wanted me to yell, I am not crazy. Like, there was something inside, but you know, you have to control. So you have to control your emotions, the impulse of taking an action with the actual action, the actual doing of whatever it is that you want to do. And it takes a lot of self-restraining, a lot of self-control. But let me tell you, once you are able to control that, literally they can't do anything. There is nothing that they can do. Now, yes, so there were times where you're gonna feel like a victim. I'm not gonna lie to you, there's times where I felt like a victim, where I'm like, I am being mistreated by all of these people, you know. But I've always known that I can do this, you know, and I've always known that there is something really positive that I'm gonna be able to get out of this. There is something there's something positive other than my HIV status that I want to get out of this. There's something positive that I want to get out of this. I'm sorry. I've been watching reaction to South Park, and it's just funny when they say that. Now, that's like dark humor, and I think it's so funny. I love it. Anyways, so I was like, there's something really positive that I'm gonna be able to get out of this. And you know, the cue that gang stalkers get when their language has gotten to you is when you stop using the words, and that's how they get it. So for example, let's say that I'm HIV positive, and that let's say that gang stalkers are using, let's say that that's a word that I've said for a long time. Oh yeah, are you sure? Yeah, I'm positive, you know. So then gang stalkers start using that word. And then when the change of perception of that word, let's say that because I'm HIV positive, right? And let's say that gang stalkers start using positive, positive, positive. And the moment that instead of changing, oh I'm sure, instead of saying I'm positive, I change my vocabulary and I say I'm sure. Boom, that's their signal. Okay, positive is the word that is actually gonna get to him because I've made a change in my language. So they start using language that you use. So like when I'm impressed by something and I say, oh wow, you know, gang stalkers are gonna start saying that a lot. But if I don't change it, don't change it. Because the moment that you change it, you start saying, oh wow, you know, and then would begin saying, oh damn, you know, and I would do an active change of my vocabulary. That means that they got to me. That would be their signal. Oh, he stopped saying wow. So now they're gonna start saying it a lot more because that is their signal that there is a trigger. Now, also, they do not only pay attention to your change in language, but also in the way that you say words. So for example, one thing that a word that they got right was high mileage. I am run down. I'm still hot. I'm still tight, but I've had a lot of gay sex. Like a lot. Anyways, that's a reference to Drawn Together, by the way, to the cartoon. So you have, if you haven't seen the TV show Drawn Together, you should watch it. It's hysterical. Anyways, so I was identified, gang stalkers, lower my self-esteem. Even though I am proud of being sexually experienced, even though I am proud of being sexually experienced, the word or the word high mileage, tends to I didn't think anything of it. It was just for high mileage cars. So whenever my low self-esteem, my self-esteem was lowered enough, then my perception of the word high mileage would be that I'm high mileage. So like the word would be pointing at me, calling me a high mileage individual. Now, I forgot my point. Give me 1 second. I need to go back. So I work in auto parts, right? And the word high mileage is plastered all over the store. So gang stalkers are gonna pay attention if you look at the word high mileage and you look at it and you look like you are experiencing a negative emotion and you look like you are experiencing a negative emotion when you say the word high mileage. Like when you see the word high mileage written somewhere, if you look at it and you just glare at it, like I remember this used to happen to me when I was looking at it, and then I would feel a negative emotion. So when that would happen, let's say that it was like a Tuesday. On Tuesdays we have a lot of truck, so we put like all the oil up, and there would be like a pallet filled with high mileage products. And whenever I would look at the word high mileage, I would feel a negative emotion. And I feel that every fucking time I would look at the word high mileage, I would feel like my psyche was punched. Like it was a direct attack every time. So that would lead me to think that my coworkers, look, this is what happened in my mind when I was connected. There was a pallet with a bunch of high mileage products. I would feel, and I would know that my coworkers put all the high mileage products together so that I would be looking at the word high mileage and what would we have to putting up. And I saw how they would look at me, knowing that every time I looked at a fucking high mileage word, it was like a fucking punch to my self-esteem. From all the words, that was the worst. But I'm over it now. And even though I know I see it for what it is, it still manages to have like a psychological punch. So like last time that high mileage was actually a thing, I pretended like I didn't see anything. I just managed to get it out of my head. And yeah, that's I think that is the whole thing with the perceptual change. So I think that's all I have to cover. So a quick summary. First, your self-esteem has to be lowered. If you do not define your self-esteem in your head, you're literally allowing them to lower your self-esteem. Double speak word by double speak word. And even if it isn't double speak, even if it's whispered to you, gang stalkers are going to be whispering things to you because no one else is gonna hear it, and it is there. And they can, like, I've had this like short Filipino guy. He looked at me when I was giving him a filter, and he literally went like this. Whore. I swear to God, he did that. And then I just like ugh, and then I just like kept doing my job. I ignored it. So whenever you see things like this in your head, you have to like actively defend yourself, not vocally, because they're gonna call you crazy. And if you tell them, why are you calling me a whore? They're gonna be like, I didn't say anything, you know, which is something that you can do. But I guess I could have whispered back, your mother. You know, that would have been fun. And then I could also deny it. Huh. Okay. I guess I'm gonna try that next time, you know. Or I could be like, you wish you were able to be a whore. Or something like that. But I'm in retail, so I can't do that. But anyways, well, yeah. So oh yeah, someone else in the comments told me that this guy, I forgot your screening, but thank you for the comment. So that it allowed me to see that the gang stalkers kind of recycle the same words, because he said that he was also being called a whore, even though he's not a whore. He's married. And it's like, well, then that tells me that so that in itself should tell everyone, and including him, that they're literally just throwing out insults to see what sticks. That's more evidence, you know, that they are literally just throwing out words and to see what sticks and what actually causes you to be offended. So they're throwing out words, they're trying to offend you, they're trying to lower your self-esteem, they're trying to get that smile off your face. So that's one thing that happened. So whenever I was done with the gang stalkers, when I was done with the thing, when I knew the conditioning was over and they got nothing out of it, when that happened, I literally was smiling. I had a big, evil, gang-stalking grin on my face of mockery. And that's when they were beginning to say, like, faggot, 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 faggot. But I did not allow the word to take the grin off my face. I was just smiling and ignoring them. Because this is what I saw. I felt that they did all that work and they got nothing. And they were ardidos. They were furious that they got nothing. So that was their last resort. To use petty insults to try to get something, and yet they did not. After that happened, that's when the event where the voices in my head began changing sides. When the voices were like, oh, we're switching to your side. You're the badass. They suck. So that experience, the fact that their work did nothing, allowed my self-esteem to just raise up. Now, that happened. And what else? Let me see. And I did not allow the insults to take the smile off my face. Even when I felt a psychological hit, I kept a smile, and just doing that helped me a lot, because I felt like a shield. Well, anyways, that's all I have to say for this video. So if gang stalkers are insulting you, just know that they're just trying to find what hits, what gets you. I feel that they stuck with the word faggot because the first time that they said that word did take the smile off my face. But after that, I just kept it because I had already won the entire that episode of gang stalking. Now, thank you guys so much for watching. The crux of this video is to defend your self-esteem inside your head, outside your head. If you can actually prove it, if there is actually people that heard that, you can actually prove that there's evidence that this person is offending you, then yeah, defend yourself. However, be very careful on the actions that you take, because the last thing that you want is to lose your job. You have to keep your priorities straight. Do not allow the gang stalkers to get a vicious reaction from you. Keep a confident smile on your face. So that's the thing. Always keep a confident smile on your face, because if you keep a smile on your face, even though your psyche doesn't feel like it, it will actually follow. And that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good day.